This is Terry McJade, aka the Pirate Hunter, and this is a build update on my Rat Fink. It's an interesting kit. The plastic on it is different. It's almost like a gel coat type plastic. If you've ever worked on like fiberglass boats, jet skis, the Fiero Pontiac was one that used gel coat. When you sand on this, it's like you're taking a gel coat finish off the top and gives you a different finish. Also, this plastic, even if you wash your hands every time before you go to use it, you leave, it gets dirty easy. Well, it picks the oil up really quick out of the skin on your hands. One issue I found on this is the plastic also reacts to adhesives kind of interestingly. This is what I use for my slow glue, which is my tester's glue. The camera don't want to focus good on it. On my tab too. This is the glue I use, and also the standard Tamiya extra thin. The regular glue, the tester's glue, in a lot of ways works almost like a quick set extra thin from Tamiya. When I did the feet on this, you can look at them and they were hollow on the bottom. In the drawing it shows they were hollow. So what I did is I took and laid them out on the plastic, the white plastic base, put them down, and I marked them. Also, don't use a blue gel pen on this because it soaks right into that white plastic and it doesn't sand out. I marked them out, cut them out, and I put the regular slow glue on it, and when I set it down on it, as I went to move it, it had stuck already. So you need to be careful if you're using that kind of glue on this. Also on the foot on the left side here, which is his right foot, when I glued it onto the body, I used just a small amount of glue, put it on there, and it took about a week and a half for it to totally set up and dry. Yet the foot on the other side, put a small amount of glue on there, put it on there, set up, no problem. This thing is a seam queen on it. The seams on this, on the sides, I don't know if you can see them, I've got them pretty much filled in, but right here there was two big lumps, one on each side. You can still see the where that was. And if you try to take them down or take them out, what it does, it goes right through into plastic. The plastic on these seams is really thin. I tried chasing the seams down by sanding them down to make it easier to fit it together, and it just didn't work. It's like trying to solder a radiator. All you do is chase it. And across the top in the ears here and across between the ears, there was a really big seam. And one review I read of this, the guy managed to take and use Tamiya extra thin and bend it, twist it, and get it to fit in place. I couldn't do it. And that is another warning on using Tamiya extra thin on this. If you put the Tamiya extra thin on it and brush it just a little bit, that plastic will all of a sudden went right through here, went really soft with me. So back again to a lot of filling. Now on the tail on him, if you look in the drawing on the tail, on the directions, it comes out to a big square end on it, which sticks down about 1/8 to 3/16 of an inch. So what I did is I took and figured out, and it lays flat, but I kind of bent it and modified it to fit on the base better. What I did is took and did a rough sanding on it because I had an idea where it was going to fit into the body. Then I just laid it down flat on this, glued it, and now I'm just doing the final finish and sanding on it to get it all shaped in finally on it. The tail is supposed to lay flat on the base, so what I did is I did the modification. I bent it, turned it, and twisted it so it fits in better. These, where the feet attach right here, and around through on this backside, there is a pretty big gap right there. Again, it takes a lot of filler and sanding to get it to work. You just have to be careful because this thing, anything like the enamel fillers and things like this, it really likes them. It really likes them. It softens that plastic up quite a bit. The same when I put his nose on. When I glued it with the slow glue only stuck in one spot. So after about a day of being able to push it off, I took and just put a little bit of Tamiya extra thin on it, and it glued right down. Here on this, right here, I don't know if you can see it, right here, this strap on these coveralls or clothes, whatever you want to call it, just come up here and just faded into oblivion. There was nothing there. So I built it up with putty, the Tamiya putty, sanded it down, shaped it, put the grooves on it. If you're doing anything like this, be careful in these seams, because you can take, even using the back edge of an X-Acto knife, you can take and cut right through that plastic without working at it really hard. I said it's a fun build. The feet are got bottoms on them because they're going on that other base. That way I can round them a little bit so it's just a square flat going into that. The rest of it looks pretty good. We just have to take and do a little bit of finish sanding on it here, and then hopefully we can get a coat of primer shot on it. The garbage can on it has a hole in it, and what will be in this hole, since the Rat Fink was the anti-Mickey Mouse, is down inside here there will be a pair of large white eyes with black centers on them looking out of there, and there will be a cover on top of this with a rock on it with a Mickey Mouse set of ears on it, head and set of ears with a rock on it. And so that goes on, that's got this on it so I can paint it easier. That goes on that corner. Now there's not a lot of accessories for these kind of things. So I made me a booze bottle because I said Mickey Mouse is squeaky clean and everything else, and that's why Ed Roth did Rat Fink as anti-Mickey Mouse. Also, I took and tried to build a squished cigarette butt, but my wife says it looks like a rat turd. Oh well. But it's, by the time I get it painted, hopefully it won't look too bad. The base is my standard, one of my bases that I build. I used the stuff from Woodland Scenics to make roadways with to put on this. And I used a clay wash on it, and I shouldn't have. I've had a lot of issues with the clay wash not wanting to set up good, not wanting to dry good. And then I tried coating it with a sealer, and it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't set up. Finally, this is 4 days after I've sprayed it, and it's starting to set up a little bit now. I took and used a oil-based wash with lighter fluid to fill the cracks in on the concrete on it. So, like I said, it's taken a long time for it to get to set up. The paint on this, the original paint, from what I can find out, was a emerald green mixed with a lemon yellow for the original color on this. So I came up with this. I couldn't find any emerald green around here, so this is a combination of green yellow paints to try on this, to use it for the body color. The coveralls, her clothes obviously will do red with the gold letters on it, highlight. Now if you look at his ears, they look kind of furry. Now I talked to Cohen C. and about this, and about using static grass to see if I can give it a fur type look. He thought it was kind of an interesting question. So what I'll do is see if I can get some static grass and try to get it to where it'll stand up on that to see if I can get it to work. Now, if you look at it, the body on it is green, and the hair has a tendency to have a lot of black in it. So possibly it could be one of these that we could use if I could find the black static grass, or even if I have to just dry brush it after I'm done. So this is a really short, quick update on this. It's a fun kit. You can do all sorts of things with it. It's an interesting project for an afternoon if you just want to have your son or daughter build it with you for something to build. Teach them how to fill seams, because there's a lot of seams to fill on this. But it's a fun kit. You can do a lot of different things with it. Again, this is the Pirate Hunter, and to quote the great Jerry Springer, take care of yourself and each other.